Hello peoples, Billy the Crayon here, and we are about to embark on a new campaign. And this time we are playing Total War Shogun 2. And I'll be playing this as one of my favorite clans in the game, and that is the Chosokabe. I believe that's how you say it. Correct me if I'm wrong, or don't. Whatever. I don't like being cut off by short campaigns, so I'm gonna make it a long campaign. Don't like the idea of domination either, but in fact, I probably won't even really listen to these victory conditions or anything. Like, if I have a good ally in one of these places, I'm not gonna uproot them and attack them just for the plain sake of taking land. I just don't believe in that. If there's a good ally out there, I'll have him as a good ally and a good trade partner and all that good stuff. So anyways, without further ado, here is the opening cinematic and all that good stuff for the Chosokabe. I'll see you on the other side. And also, just so anyone knows, or just so everybody knows, there probably won't be much action in this first video. The second video, there will be. Anyways, here you go.
1545. This is Sengoku Jidai, the age of the country at war. For 200 years, the Ashikaga shoguns have ruled from Kyoto. Great splendor and power were theirs. Now, the overmighty clans no longer obey. The time has come for a new warlord to become shogun. But who will be victorious? Chosokabe lands have always provided for our people. Our enemies are many and envious. They threaten our borders and look for any weakness. This is our land. We respect its ways. Our farmers work hard and grow more than other men. But we are master warriors too. Our archers are admired by all. No arrow flies truer than a Chosokabe shaft. Bishamund, the war god has woken. Now is the time to defeat our enemies. All will bow to the Chosokabe clan. We wait no longer. Destiny calls! We are the Chosokabe. Until recently, our home province of Tosa was controlled by the Ichijo clan. We are their vassals. The waning popularity of the Ichijo throughout the province, and our own growing influence gave us the means to seize control for ourselves. Now, all that remains is to crush what remains of Ichijo resistance. Once this is done, nothing will prevent the conquest of Shikoku. Our rivals, the Kono, have their eyes on the same prize. They will also vie for control of the island, so the capture of their province, Iyo, must also be a priority. Whilst holding no particular strategic value, control of Iyo will allow us to extend our domain and bring us closer to the mainland of Honshu and its riches. We have as yet no quarrel with the Sogo or Miyoshi clans, but their subjugation or destruction will give us total control of Shikoku and access to resources vital for expansion beyond the shores of Shikoku. The fine horses of Awa will enable us to field superior cavalry, whilst the stone found in Sanuki will make our castles impregnable. Both are excellent trade resources should we choose to negotiate with other clans. However, with power and influence will surely come the ire of Kyoto. And should the Shogun feel threatened, he will rally his subjects against us. In that event, we must be prepared to fend off all who would attack us, no matter from where that threat emerges. If the Shogun wishes to halt our expansion, let him come here and reckon with us himself.
Okay, so after all that good stuff, we are on the campaign map. And
daimyo is to become shogun.
Be quiet. Yeah, this is just the small little island that we have, and well, that we're on. We share it with a few other people. We're at war with some of them, I believe, or no? Looks like we're at peace. I don't know. But apparently, these guys right here used to be. We used to be their vassals. So I guess we're breaking free from them. But this is set in 1545, which is well after the start of like all this feudal Japan stuff and all that good stuff. Like, I don't know too much about it, and like I like to consider myself an enthusiast historian. You know, like I love history and everything, and I love like studying it and all that good stuff. But I don't remember names or anything like that, or like, and I don't really know that much. Like I never went to school for anything like that. But I've been like kind of researching the whole thing, what happened with in feudal Japan and all that good stuff, and it's really interesting. Like basically, it wasn't really that big of a deal. Not everyone was at war at one point, and they actually got along quite well. In fact, like the few battles that there were, it was never with swords or anything like that. With back in the day, like even before the time that we're seeing here, Japanese used to only really fight with bow and arrow and on horseback and all that good stuff until around about 1274, when the Mongols decided to invade Japan. And they came like around up in this area here, which is up in here on the big map here. They came in somewhere around here, and all of Japan, like all of the samurai, went there to defend Japan. And they did. Well, they didn't. They actually got their asses kicked pretty badly by the Mongols. They just had better equipment and swords and all that good stuff. They weren't fighting on horseback or with bow and arrow or anything. They were fighting with shields and swords and all that. And they even had access to like explosive devices using gunpowder and all that. And which, of course, the Japanese on horseback with a bow and arrow just getting rushed, and the horses getting spooked by all these explosions and all this shit. Like, it just didn't work out for them. They got their asses kicked. They had to fall back. Luckily for the Japanese, the Mongols didn't realize how bad their situation was, and they thought that they actually were that the Japanese were much stronger and were going to come back with a bigger force to wipe them out. So they hightailed it out of here and went on back. So that was a huge mistake for the Mongols. They could have had Japan. But they just didn't realize it. And the Japanese realized that this, and they thought, hey, they might be back. So they decided to erect like big walls, like all around, like any part where you can land a sizable force to invade Japan. They had a big wall, like retaining that area so that they could basically turn it into a killing field. So when the Mongols did come back, like 7 years later, they were stuck. They were stuck out at sea, and they had no place on the island of Japan where they could land. And so they stayed out there, and they starved, and they lost a lot of people that way until finally the typhoon came and wiped them out. And then that's when the Japanese people got right spiritual. But the problem is, the way that samurais operate is that they're not paid money, because it's just not how they are paid for their services. They're usually received like a parcel of land for their services to their to the shogunate or to the emperor or their clan, whatever. So they would receive a parcel of land, and a lot of the times, like if they're invading another clan, then they would receive a parcel of land that they captured. They'd receive a small parcel of land there. And that was all fine and dandy, but the problem is when the Mongols showed up, they went to protect Japan, but they didn't get anything in return. There was no land to be bartered off or to be won, so they were given nothing. And that's when people started to not listen to the powers that be and started going their own way. And these clans basically said, fuck it, we're on our own. And then it was like hundreds of years, like a couple hundred years later, you get to where this time frame is, where these current clans are big and all that stuff. And this is like right before the turn of where shit, I just drew a brain fart. But this is right about where the clans finally united and Japan was finally at peace again. And it took a lot to get that far, but like, of course, like with video games, they can't really video games don't really do history that well. They always like, just because of the whole poetic license thing, they have to do something to make the game interesting and less boring. So that's so you can't really take too much history from video games. This information that I got, I studied like on YouTube and like Wikipedia, things, not really Wikipedia, but like I watched some YouTube videos on like a show from the History Channel on feudal Japan. So that's where I'm getting all my information at. And so correct me if I'm wrong, which I probably am on a lot of things, and I know that. But yeah, but I really love finding out like lore on some of these things, which you don't really get with Mount and Blade, just because of the way that that game's made. There was no real story behind it. A little bit, but not really. But yeah, anyways, that'll be it for part one of this. Obviously, like I warned you right at the start before the trailers and everything, there's not going to be much action in this. In fact, there was none. But we're definitely going to get in that in the second episode, which will be right around the corner. And I'm going to be filming that now, like as we speak. So, well, as I speak, it'll probably be getting ready to be uploaded when you see this. But yeah, I'll be working on that now. So stay tuned. Expect a good campaign. I have it set to normal. It's not going to be like too difficult or anything. It should be still difficult though, because I'm not really all that great at these, especially the siege battle. Like, I'm not really good at taking a castle in this game. It's just one of those things I haven't really wrapped my head around. So I got to figure all that out when I start getting up and taking like bigger castles and stuff. But anyways, I'll let you go for now. Have a good one. If you want to see this campaign go off, if you want to see this happen, I mean, just let me know. Like the video, comment, all that good stuff. If you're new to my channel, feel free to subscribe, and you'll expect some more. You can expect some more Shogun 2. As well as my other Let's Play that's going on right now, which is the Mountain Blade Warband. So anyways, I'll see you next time, guys. Have a good one.